rockers. How's everybody doing out there? I hope you're doing well. And I've been working on something for at least a week, trying to actually do it. I've already done my top 20 Kiss songs, my 10 worst Kiss songs, my top 10 Rat songs. I've talked a lot lately about Motley Crue, but I realized I haven't yet done a top Motley Crue songs list. So I thought it was time to go ahead and get that done. In case you haven't seen any of my videos before, this is your first one. Kiss and Motley are my favorite bands by country mile. And to the point, I can't really even decide sometimes which of them is actually my number one favorite and which of them is like 1A and 1B, you know. But the important thing is there is no question that they are my two favorite bands. And I cannot possibly express in words how important their music has been in my life. Just means the world to me, listening to these guys, what they had to say. I mean, Kiss, the songs are usually a little bit goofier. I mean, you just kind of have fun when you listen to them. But a lot of them, you know, they're really have positive messages. You know, believe in yourself, get out there and kick the world's ass. Motley Crue is very much the same for me. Really, I mean, as much as your parents would tell you sometimes back in the 80s, oh, I don't think they're a very good influence on you. Huh, they look like a bunch of criminals or whatever, you know, rapists. But a lot of these lyrics have really strong positive messages, especially for young people who, I mean, I was one once, so I remember needing that kind of, whether I realized it or not. Anyway, I decided with Motley because there are simply so many of these songs that mean so much to me and have basically my whole life. I could not limit this to 10 songs. There weren't quite enough to go to 20. I mean, I didn't feel justified doing that because there's only, I'm only counting 8 studio albums and then, you know, extra tracks on their greatest hits and singles, stuff like that. But I mean, Kiss has 20 studio albums if you don't count the 4 solo albums. And I only gave them 20 songs. So with Motley's 8 studio albums that I count, and a note on that right now while I mentioned it. If you have watched any of my other Motley Crue videos, you probably are familiar with the fact that I do not consider the 94 album a Motley Crue album. I'm not saying it's not worth considering. I'm just saying, to me, it's not worth considering as a Motley Crue album because, you know, no Warren, no Rat, no Vince, no Motley Crue. Sorry. That's just how I feel. Anyway, I couldn't go 20 songs off just 8 studio albums and the extra tracks from greatest hits and stuff. So I decided to go with 15. And when I made up a list and put down 15 song titles on it, honestly, that seemed about right. I mean, I easily could have done 20, even 25 and been really happy with the list. But I didn't let myself. But I will tell you some honorable mention at the end. And what I did do differently with this list, and I don't know why it was easier for me to do it here, and I could not do it with Kiss. I think I did kind of do it with the Rat Top 10. But on this one, I did order these. Now, I will say right now, the top 5, I'm pretty set on that. I don't think there would be a lot of change, although I did make a change at the very top just yesterday. And I made another one in the top 5, another change today, just now before I did this, before I started this video. But other than that, I mean, my top 5 here is pretty set. Everything after that is kind of where I think it belongs for me personally. Again, this is just my opinion, of course. I have no documentation to prove this list is correct in the correct order. And I don't really care. But this is my list. This is how I see it. And I really, really hope that all you CRUE fans out there who see this will give me your top 15 in the comments below this video. As I've said before, that's why I do these videos. I'm not here because I believe my opinion is so important, I've just got to get it out to the world. I mean, we're just talking about music here, and it's just me telling you what I think. I want to make that the beginning of the conversation. So get in the comments, tell us your list so we can all kind of go back and forth. I mean, you guys are really good about that mostly, but not too many of you. The ones of you who do, I really appreciate it, and I love seeing your lists, and I think most of them are fantastic. Maybe all of them, I guess, but do me a favor and share that with us here again. I'd love to see it, especially with Motley Crue. Almost as much as Kiss, I'm interested in your lists. So, with that said, here we go. My top 15 Motley Crue songs, and I'm going to do this differently than I've ever done one of these before. I'm going to start with number 1 and work my way down. I don't know why, but it just feels right for some reason with these guys. All right, so here we go. Kickstart my motherfucking heart. I mean, I don't know what to say. If this song does not get your blood pumping, I think you're a corpse already. There's just no hope. I mean, this song is absolutely magical to me. I am not a huge fan now of the Dr. Feelgood album. It sounds a little too polished, a little too slick, a little too smooth, and I feel like I could get that album from parts of that album from several other bands in 1989, although I'm not sure we did. But boy, there's a handful of songs on there that are just fantastic, and this is definitely my favorite Motley Crue song of all time, "Kickstart My Heart," because of what it says and how it says it, and it's just fantastic. All right, Next. Yeah. Primal Scream. And this is where I made a change yesterday. I had Primal Scream at number 1, Kickstart at number 2. And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I mean, that's not really true. The truth is, I love Primal Scream, but I think I get a little bit more of everything from Kickstart. A big part of the appeal for me with Motley Crue is the sentimental attachment to the band because of the things that they always talked about. And when I would get a new Motley album and I would listen to it, I would always hear those kind of messages that spoke to me as a 13 or 14 or 15 or 17 or 20 or whatever year old, that made me feel like, it's okay to be me. It's cool. Fuck everybody else. Fuck what they think. I'm good. And certainly both of these songs do that, but Kickstart, wow. So Primal Scream moved down to number 2, although by this much. Next. Some say it was suicide, but we know how the story goes. With a 6-string knife and a streetwise pine, the boy was a man before his time, and she knew all their dreams would come true. Yes, absolutely. And this was another last minute change. I had something else in the top 3 or in the number 3 spot. And just before I started taping this video, I realized that I had to exchange this and put it in that spot, because there's another song on the list that gives me the same feeling, but this one is, it's a little more to the point, maybe a little more poignant. If you don't understand why I would say something like that, you need to go back and find my my first couple of Motley Crue videos, one where I talked on their 40th anniversary, and the other where I just talked about them. I can't remember what that video is called, but it's, I mean, if you go to the page and scroll, you'll find it. Anyway, I just think On With The Show is fantastic. That the way the song is structured with the drum beat and the mixed guitar and everything, and then, God, those lyrics and Vince's vocal, they just slay me. So yeah, On With The Show, basically one of the most meaningful Motley Crue songs that's ever existed for me. Next. Yeah, if you've seen my album review videos at this point and you've watched the Shout at the Devil review, you know how I feel about Red Hot. It is my favorite track on Shout. It is definitely one of my top 5 favorite Motley Crue songs. I didn't always know I felt that way. It took me a while to realize that was the case, but it is absolutely my favorite song on Shout. And Shout's one of my favorite Motley albums, so there you go. Man, when I saw them in concert on the Girls Tour in '87 with Whitesnake opening and they went into Red Hot, I just, like, the lights, the whole stage went bright red, and shit was blowing up or whatever, and Tommy's pounding those drums. Wow, what a moment that was for me. All right, moving on.
Just a gang of four, got each other's back. Half a blood like one locked in a pack. Tearing up the world, put our tail through hell. Just to have a story we can tell. You can't stop us 'cause we're going out, going out, going out, going out swinging. If you got the balls to fight it.
Yeah, that's right. I freaking love this song. I'm sure a lot of people are probably surprised by this choice, but same reason as Red Hot. It comes on and it just kicks my ass and gets me ready to run through a brick fucking wall. If you don't understand that, I can't really explain it to you. It's just the way it is, and you got to get it on your own. But yeah, fantastic lyrics, fantastic vocal, incredible music. I absolutely love this song. This is my favorite song on Saints of Los Angeles. I love that album. And I love a lot of songs from that album, but this is by far my top pick. Okay, so that's the top 5. Now, number 6.
You know I'm a dreamer, but my heart's of gold. I had to run away high, so I wouldn't come home low. Just when things went right, it doesn't mean they were always wrong. Just take this song and you'll never be left.
I don't have to say too much about this. There's a reason this song won the MTV vote like every day for weeks and weeks, to the point that MTV had to change their policy on the votes they did for what was it, the video of the week or whatever I don't remember now. But yeah, Home Sweet Home, it's just precious. It really is. It's sort of the song, single wise, sort of the song that introduced the world to the charm of Motley Crue. That I think before this and before Smoking in the Boys Room, I guess, a lot of people just thought of Motley Crue and they thought bad thoughts, like, oh my gosh, I don't want my kids listening to them. I don't want, I can't let my parents hear this record or know I've got it. Smoking in the Boys Room and Home Sweet Home come out on the radio, and suddenly everybody's like, oh, well, they're really nice boys. Who would have known? Yeah, still love it. And I don't care whether you want to listen to the version on Theater of Pain or the 91 version on Decade of Decadence. Either one's just fine with me. I like them pretty much equally. I do realize there are some slight differences in the recording, but I don't honestly like one more than the other. I like hearing both of them kind of alternate. All right. Next up. Yeah. Definitely my favorite track on Too Fast for Love, other than On With the Show. And I just absolutely love it. Number 8. I mean, you can't really talk about Too Fast for Love without including this song, can you? It's never been my favorite track on Too Fast for Love, but that doesn't mean I don't absolutely love it. I do. I don't know if there's one single song that better encompasses everything you need to know about a band right off the bat. I mean, it's just amazing how perfect this is as the very first Motley Crue song you hear if you go through the albums in chronological order. You couldn't capture that more perfectly, in my opinion. Track 9. I tried moving it up higher. I tried having it lower. Neither one worked. This seems pretty, it's definitely top 10. But there's just other songs that aren't necessarily more awesome, but they mean more. Wild Side is fantastic, though. Absolutely great song. And one of my favorite Motley videos, actually. I love seeing the girls' tour captured on film because I was there for that, and that's how I remember it. I mean, obviously, you know, the audio is a little different when you're watching on a TV or when you're in the arena, but God, great song. It's a great song. And rounding out the top 10 of 15. Hell yes. How could you not have Shout at the Devil in the top 10 of a Motley Crue list, right? I mean, this is sort of what sold the band to 4 million people in 1983. And I've never burned out on this song. I've never gotten tired of hearing it because it's so completely brutal. And I mean, there's something to be said for that. Not a lot of bands can do that. Boy, Motley Crue sure did. Okay, and then for the 11 through 15. One thing to prove. yeah, this may surprise a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know really how other people feel about this one. I haven't heard a lot about, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about their feelings about this song, but I loved it the first time I heard it, but over the years, this song just keeps bumping up and up and up in my rankings, and I absolutely dig this song. Love the video too. Okay.
We never really had a reason. We never really cared. We were dogs and the heathens. Yeah. Let me tell you what you're thinking. Let me tell you why you're here. This is not a new religion. Everybody wants some. What the hell? Everybody needs some. Everybody, yeah. Oh, no. Don't need no love and no respect. 'Cause it's all about the sex. It's all about the...
Okay. Yes. If you're familiar with the channel, you may have noticed that I made a video for this a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years, I guess. And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, not because I'm such an expert video maker, I'm not, but because the song is so much fun. I wish to God this song would have been on one of their albums. This would have been so great on New Tattoo or Saints of Los Angeles. It's a real bummer that it didn't make one of those albums. I think it really could have kind of boosted some of the reaction to either one of those, but at least we did get it. We did get it. And I love this song. This is, to me, one of the most fun Motley Crue songs, and I always go back to it because of that. I just love it. All right, next up.
Had wild dreams, walking the streets. Here we were young, never looked back. So we took our dreams.
Okay, so some people may not be happy that I've got 3 kind of ballads on the list, On With the Show, Home Sweet Home, and Danger. I don't care. I mean, listen to that song. It's just incredible. That riff and Tommy's drums with all those fantastic fills he does. Vince's vocal, I think this is the best Vince Neil vocal I've ever heard. And I mean, it's an incredible song. It's also an incredible lyric. The things they talked about in this song, I mean, wow. And I think it's a hell of a way to close out Shout at the Devil as an album, because it's really, I mean, as you go through side 2 of Shout, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but to me, things sort of soften up just a little bit attitude-wise. 10 Seconds to Love, it's a little more of a fun, sex song. It's great. I love it. It's one of my favorite songs on Shout, but it's important, I think, that you finish the album with Danger right after that, because everything they established with the title track at the beginning, Danger kind of brings you back to that just darkness by the end. It's fantastic. Next.
You say our love is like dynamite. Open your eyes, it's like fire and
Yeah, I didn't have this in the top 15 at first. Had to move it up. And it was one of those that I could have had a bunch of other songs in this spot, and I did. These last two spots were the toughest for me, or last three, because there's so many options and so many songs that you want to mention as part of this, but I just couldn't deny it. I remember still the first time I saw this video on MTV, and I already had the album for a while before that, but I didn't have MTV when I was 13. I lived in a small town. It hadn't come to us yet. I had cousins who lived in the bigger town, not 90 miles away, and I just happened to go up and stay with them one year for like a week, and that's pretty much what we did, was sit in front of this and watch MTV. And this video came on, and I was just like, I almost leapt off the couch because I was so pumped for this. Yeah, I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and I just still love the song. I love the whole attitude of it. It was one of the first messages on Shout at the Devil that I really was able to latch onto. I was like, yeah, I understand what he's talking about here, and it means something to me too. Even though it didn't really. I mean, I would have killed for a girlfriend at that point, but whatever. Anyway, great riff. Great vocals, great chorus. I just love it. Okay, and rounding out the last song on the top 15 Motley Crue songs for me. I mean, is there any way you could not include this one? When this song hit in 89, holy crap. I remember Sam Kinison and Vince and Tommy were on some video show one night. I was watching it, and they were sitting in this little studio and talking about the videos before they would play each one. And at some point in the show, Sam got ready to introduce this video, and he goes, man, all right, when this song came out, it gave all the other rock songs a black eye. Punched him in the face and gave him a black eye. Dr. Feelgood, that is that song. Dr. Feelgood gave everything a black eye when it came out, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. I can't think of anybody I knew personally who didn't, if you asked them about, have you heard this yet? And they'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's the list. Now, when you get online and you watch this, and then you click down below to start writing your comments so you can complain about what I did in my list, don't just complain about my list, please. Tell me your list. If you don't tell me your list, you have no right to complain about my list. That's the gauntlet I'm throwing down here. You have to give me your list to complain about mine. So start coming up with your list first. Put it in there and then complain about mine. That's the bargain we make here. It's a conversation. This video is my end of the conversation so that everybody else can join in. But if you're going to join in, it can't be just a bitch. You got to give your part too. Okay. So for anybody who wanted to keep track for whatever reason of how many songs on my top 15 came from what albums, that's 3 songs from Too Fast for Love, 4 from Shout, 1 from Theater of Pain, of course, 1 from Girls, 2 from Dr. Feelgood, none from Generation Swine, none from New Tattoo, 1 from Saints of Los Angeles, and 3 that are either just singles or from compilation albums. Now, that said, my honorable mention includes and on and on and on. I could have included entire albums in my at least honorable mention. All right, so that's the top 15 Motley Crue list, plus however many honorable mentions those were. Thank you guys for watching. We've gotten a lot more subscribers lately. The last I saw, I think it was up at wow. I was just asking people to subscribe so we could get to 500, wasn't I? And now we're well over 6. Amazing. Amazing. Hats off to you guys. You are awesome. I'll talk to you soon. Out.